Now, if the federal government succeeds in passing its mining and resources tax this week, Australia won't be alone. China has begun taxing big oil and gas companies for the environmental destruction they cause. The Chinese government says billions of dollars raised from the new tax will go towards setting up sustainable industries in poor, remote regions where resource companies are often based. Our China correspondent Stephen McDonald reports.
Remote parts of Western China are a rich source of raw materials, but those who live and work there remain quite poor. These areas are also heavily polluted now, and the Chinese government says big companies must pay for their damage. So China has introduced a national resource tax, which hits the oil and gas industries the hardest.
The impact on companies is huge. The tax is mandatory and they'll have to pay it even though they're not happy.
The tax for oil and gas companies is initially set at between 5 and 10% of bulk sales. It's said funds will go to the local governments where the resources are extracted to be used for environmental repair and to establish sustainable industries. It will cost the companies billions of dollars, but even more in the future.
We're considering gradually raising the resource tax level. First, we establish the mechanism, keep the level low to minimise its initial impact, then increase it step by step.
Yet China won't hit its big oil companies too hard, as they're hugely profitable and owned by the government. Many of China's state-owned resource companies are based along this street in Beijing. The size and grandeur of their buildings are a testimony to the great wealth that these companies have amassed. But none of them would be interviewed for this story. The government has told them to pay the tax, and they'll just have to cop it. Other resource companies know they're next in line, with coking coal already partially hit by this resource tax. Stephen McDonald, ABC News, Beijing.